Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump has signed into law an executive order that is completely and totally unconstitutional. Let's talk about it. Okay, as I said in the intro, President Trump, who I have thrown my support behind, has signed an unconstitutional executive order. Let me put it up on the screen here, and then we will get into what he did and why he did it. So right here, Trump, he signed in this executive order. And what it did is it took all of the lawyers from Perkins Coie law firm and banned them from being able to talk to government employees, being able to attend government meetings, to even they can't even go into federal government buildings. They are completely banned, okay? And they lost all of their security clearances. So they have clients who are government employees, they have cases. They now can't do any of that stuff. Why would Trump sign something that is blatantly unconstitutional on its face? I mean, we all have the ability, based upon the First Amendment, to redress grievances with our government. This would violate the First Amendment. So why would Trump do this? Uh, and as of the time of this recording, this right here is is currently how it stands. Now, this is going out in the morning. I'm recording this on Wednesday, March 12th, and this is evolving as we go. So by the time of this recording, some of this stuff might not even apply anymore. But right now, the judge, what happened was Trump issued this executive order. In less than a day's time, the law firm of Perkins Coie, they went ahead and they challenged this lawsuit in court. And a judge has already put a temporary restraining order blocking this EO from being enforced. So all the attorneys from Perkins Coie, all their clients, they're right now like nothing has changed at this moment, other than even the security clearances would like them being taken away would be on hold based upon this order. Now, a lot of people would ask, why would Trump do something so blatantly unconstitutional? Well, I believe this is all a part of a strategy that Trump and Pam Bondi are putting into place. And here's how I see this going. So, the lawsuit that Perkins Coie has filed, it's in the federal court, but it's a civil lawsuit. Okay, and civil lawsuits are a little bit different than criminal lawsuits. There's certain things you can argue, certain things that you can't argue. And what I think is Trump is actually setting up Perkins Coie. He wanted them to sue. I don't like he did this blatantly unconstitutional action so that they would sue. And so that he would get this in front of a judge like what he has right now. Because Trump has pretty much with this executive order, he's saying, look, these guys are breaking US law. Like they are violating even their security clearances that they've been granted. So this is a way to get all of that stuff into a courtroom. Well, why would he want that in a courtroom, you may ask? Well, there's a very good reason why he would want it in a courtroom because this opens the door to an investigation by them now suing in a civil trial. Trump can now argue that, hey, we need to flesh all this stuff out. And it's now in a court of law. So for them to argue that, no, we haven't broken any laws, guess what? There's going to be depositions, there's going to be discovery. This means all of a sudden now those gates are opened. Perkins Coie, they didn't have to challenge this. They didn't have to go to court and say, "Hey, this is wrong." They're choosing to, okay? And by choosing to, they have now met Trump on the battlefield of his choosing. And there's something to be said about that. Like, I think this was all planned, because now they're going to be able to start arguing that no, no, no. We even need to be able to see inside of some attorney-client privilege, possibly, because their clients broke the law, or these attorneys were breaking the law while they were in the DOJ, and now they can also pull them into depositions. And if you've been following this channel through a lot of the other legal stuff that's been going on with Jeremy Hills and whatnot, you know, civil trials, if you get called for a deposition, you cannot plead the fifth, because if you plead the fifth, the court then assumes guilt. And there you go. So now Perkins Coie, by taking this bait, they now have to start opening things up. The Trump administration and the DOJ are going to now be able to get in, take a look at their files, take a look at communications, trying to see what was done with an effect to get back at then then ordinary citizen Donald Trump when he was no longer in office. And were their laws broken? Well, guess what? We're going to get to the bottom of that now. And yeah, this is going to be a legal battle, and it's going to be a long legal battle. This is like Trump, it getting blocked is, on paper, it's a loss. But I don't, like, I think Trump, they wanted to get this in front of a judge. They wanted a judge to block this executive order, because now Trump gets to go to an appeals court and say, "Oh, no, 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 no. You court, this is an executive order, and you're going to say that this is unconstitutional." But there are questions that have to be asked. We now have to make certain things a matter of fact, and see, once things are actually in a court record, they can be referenced. That's now a part of the official court record. Trump is getting them to go on the record. Whereas, had he done a straight investigation, they would have brought in other lawyers, lawyered up, and said, "Okay, yeah, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about this. We have the right to not self-incriminate." Guess what? By taking this into a civil court, they have completely taken that off the table. So while this is a very, very unconstitutional action by Donald Trump, I don't think this was the actual goal. I don't think the actual goal was to prevent any of these lawyers from coming into government buildings, government meetings, being able to talk to federal employees. I don't think that this was the goal at all. The goal was to get them into court and suing Donald Trump. Well, guess what? Hey, you're the plaintiff. You're bringing this action against us. Now we actually get to respond. And part of this response is going to be discovery. This was, I think this was a very masterful plan by the attorneys who are in Trump's corner, because I don't see any way, now that this lawsuit has been brought, you can't go back. Perkins Coie cannot go back. Even if they were to try to drop the lawsuit now, the administration can go, not so fast. Not so fast. You now have to bring this to us. So very interesting stuff happening. But I think this is a masterful move in strategy for the Trump team, even though on its face it is absolutely unconstitutional. But just because this move was unconstitutional, it's now started this domino effect that I think is really gonna, like, really just break open the doors on what we know about what was going on with the whole Russiagate scandal. That really was not a scandal at all. It was all just a bunch of BS and rumors thrown into the Steele dossier. That's been proven. Uh, you know, uh, there was no collusion. A couple of Russians sitting in Kentucky making posts on X. That's not election interference. It's nothing along those lines. It's not espionage. So I think this is a very masterful move by Trump and the lawyers inside the administration to to take some steps against a law firm that's been extremely partisan and attempted to do some very negative stuff to Donald Trump, the private citizen. So that is my 2 cents on it. We'll see where this goes. I'm gonna keep watching this. I'm sure this is gonna go for the next 4 years, but it's gonna get very interesting. And I think this will actually probably end up in several people whose names we've seen in the news before ending up in handcuffs. So there we have it, folks. There's my take on it. I could be wrong. I have been wrong before, but we'll see. Let's keep monitoring this. But all of you out there, thank you for being worth serving.